Right. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Terry Hughes with the Center for Nonprofit Management, and we're glad to have you this afternoon to learn more about some of the professional development and higher education degrees and certificate programs in the area that really, I think, will inspire many of us to do some more work and learn more about this profession that we've chosen. So we've got a lot of wonderful guests here for you today. I just wanted to remind you, we're all good in the Zoomiverse these days, but remember to mute yourself if you're not talking. Please send any questions you have or resources to Catherine or Kelly in the chat. Catherine will be providing the organization's contact info in the chat, and there'll be a follow-up email sent tomorrow that will include the recording of this session, as well as any resources that are referenced today. So you will get that tomorrow. Feel free to update your name, adding your organization. If you want to add your pronouns, drop in your link for LinkedIn in the chat, and we'll connect after the event. We also have the closed caption feature turned on, so if you'd like to utilize that function, please go ahead and do that. It's really fun today to have host this continuing education and higher education job fair of sorts, and I think we're really going to have a fun afternoon. You know, our workplace is ever changing. It's different than it's ever been before, and while we always know that employees value professional development and really planning their career path, that is becoming more and more important, we're hearing, as time goes on. And so today, I think it's going to be really exciting to learn what professional growth opportunities there are and how perhaps there are some ways to make them more affordable. With limited budgets, understaffed organizations, and not much time to spare, continuing education can easily, and sadly to say, sometimes naturally it falls to the bottom of our priorities. But we know that in order to move our organizations forward and advance our missions, continuing education is a critical tool to help nonprofit organizations retain talent and learn the latest technologies, uncover new solutions to existing challenges. So the programs that you see today that are going to be represented focus on public policy, collective impact, and social justice. Before we move to those, I do want to share that CNM has had a 15-year partnership with Vanderbilt University to support the Executive MBA Nonprofit Scholarship Program at the Owen School. That scholarship is valued at more than $125,000. The nonprofit EMBA scholarship is awarded annually to one executive of any qualified 501c3 organization who's demonstrated commitment to serving in the nonprofit sector, and it covers the full tuition of the program. Applications have closed for 2022, but we'll put a link in the chat and hope that you'll consider applying for it in 2023. And I want to give a big congratulations to Misty Leach, who is the executive director of the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network. She's been awarded the full tuition scholarship this round, so that's amazing, and it's one of our local members, so that's fabulous. So for today's agenda, we're going to spend the first few minutes discussing CNM's education opportunities for the community, including discounts, scholarships, upcoming certificates, and then you're going to hear from 6 different local universities about their program's unique benefits, scholarships, application timelines, exclusive discounts available to CNM member organization and their employees. And then the very last 20 minutes of the event, we're going to do something different. This is the scholarship fair part of the program. We're going to use open breakout rooms, and you'll be able to choose any of the programs that piqued your interest and go to those breakout rooms, ask a couple questions, and you can bounce around. So that's going to be fun. You'll hear more about it later. And a quick reminder for anybody that may have just joined in, if you have questions, you can put those in the chat to Catherine, Kathryn, or Kelly. All right, it's such an honor to introduce our very first speaker this afternoon. Representing CNM Education, please welcome Miriam Reed. She's CNM Senior Education Manager and oversees the planning and administration of CNM's workshops, certificates, and customized training. Miriam joined us last year, bringing over 28 years of experience working in the nonprofit sector. There she is, and 16 years of experience in the area of nonprofit education. Miriam is a lifelong learner. She enjoys helping others set and reach their educational goals, and she's always working to streamline processes, decrease confusion, and increase participation in CNM workshops and training. Miriam, you are the bomb. I'm ready to turn the floor over to you.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's quite the intro. As we were preparing, I said, I'm so excited to go first because what a great panel we have here today. So I won't take up too much of your time. And because we have so many great speakers, I am basically going to focus on our CNM certificate programs. If I can get there we go. Oh, wow. I hit it so many times and it just, all right, pretend like you didn't see all that. Okay, so we're gonna start on this screen. Again, I am Miriam Reed. I'm the Senior Education Manager. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about our CNM certificates. I'm going to go over them in the order that we're having them this year. So a CNM certificate is basically just a targeted education program that's designed to give extra knowledge and skills in a particular sector of the nonprofit world. Most of our CNM certificates require 3 core workshops and 3 elective workshops. The only exception being the board leader certificate, which just requires you to complete 4 core workshops. Our certificates are cohort based. So that means that you will attend all of those core workshops together with a cohesive group of students, which allows you, of course, to learn together, but also learn from each other as you progress through the program. And in terms of the electives, you can use any CNM workshop as an elective. And from the time that you start a certificate program, you'll have 2 years to complete it. And then lastly, if you've already taken some workshops, if it falls within a year of you starting a certificate, you can count that as one of your electives. So basically, I'm doing the frequently asked questions first, and then I'll just kind of go through the schedule. So for this year, the first one that we're offering is Community Impact Certificate. It was offered in person. So you see that started in April and May, and then we have a virtual session coming up in June. The Community Impact Certificate is designed for those who are interested in learning strategies that can lead to systematic change in the community. Participants discuss topics such as the collective impact framework, community organizing strategies, and policy advocacy movements. One unique thing about this particular certificate that it also includes virtual coaching sessions. So these are designed to give participants a greater understanding and to identify ways that they can begin to utilize the concepts. And although this year's cohort has already started, you can get information very similar to what is covered in part 1 by attending our Introduction to Collective Impact workshop, which is going to be offered on July 7th and is also taught by the same facilitators. And so as you can see here, one thing I forgot about Zoom is that it kind of covers up part of the thing. So, okay, part 1 is Introduction to Social Change. Part 2, Systems Change for Social Change Makers, which I didn't realize was a tongue twister until I started practicing this. And then part 3, Building Your Equity Lens. So that is sort of the first one that, well, it's actually not the first one, but you'll see at the end. This is the one we have most currently. So let's see, let's go to our next certificate, which is the Volunteer Program Management Certificate. It is offered in collaboration with Hands on Nashville, which of course are the volunteer experts in Nashville. And it's going to be offered in person starting in June. Because volunteers are the heart of many nonprofits, the Volunteer Program Management Certificate is designed for those who work closely with volunteers and would like to learn best practices for recruiting, managing, and retaining them. And you can just see here, part 1 is planning and recruitment, part 2, orientation and supervision, and part 3, evaluation and recognition. And so this is a very popular workshop that we have. At one time, we actually shared a facility with Hands on Nashville, and we do miss them, but we're still moving forward with that one. And as I said, it starts in June. So our next one is our Program Leader Certificate. It's also going to be offered in person starting in July. And the program leader certificate is coming up, and it is for individuals interested in learning how to be more effective team leaders. It helps program leaders to develop skills such as strategic planning, team member coaching, and performance evaluation. And also participants learn how to inspire their team members to reach their organizational goals while also being careful to avoid, nonprofit burnout. So as you can see here, we have our 3 parts. Part 1 being your strategic connection piece, part 2, performance management and evaluation, and then part 3, taking care of your teams and trying to avoid that staff burnout. And then moving on, the board leader certificate. This one is actually going to be offered on Zoom in an effort to make it more accessible to many of the different, board members can be doing anything. So we found it more convenient to have that one being online. It's going to start in late August. And that particular one is designed for anybody who wants to know, like, what do you do as a board member? How do you become an effective board member? And so you learn about understanding the role of the board member, how it differs from the organizational staff, how to avoid conflicts of interest. And then also, as you can see through the other parts, we'll cover things like financial oversight, learning how to be more inclusive and equitable, and even how to be a fundraiser. So that is actually a pretty popular certificate, as well as, many people have very different ideas about what it means to be on a board, and even organizations sometimes are unclear about what role the board should play. So that'll start in August and end up in September. And let's see. Last but certainly not least, we have our revenue development and fundraising certificate. This is a very popular certificate. We already had one cohort in February, ending in March. And our next one is going to be coming up in November. And so for this one, participants learn about topics such as latest trends in fundraising, how to identify a donor, how to ask for support, and of course, most importantly, how to cultivate those fundraising relationships and maintain those relationships. But not only do they just learn that, they're also working on their own plan. So as you're going through the program, you're given assignments that assist you in building a real fundraising plan that can assist you moving forward. And one thing that I found in observing the group is that they actually lean quite a bit on each other and learn what's worked in our own community. So that's the great thing about it, is that you're sort of learning Nashville specific information that can be very helpful. So if you would like more information about any of these certificates, you can go to our website, which is www.cnm.org, and click on the services tab and see certificates, or you can email me directly. My email is miriam@cnm.org, and Miriam is spelled Miriam. And I'm going to turn it back over to Terry now, but I do want to point out that one of our panelists, Dr. Kevin Trowbridge, will be offering a workshop this summer, 2 workshops on social media. So we're excited to see him here as well. And without further ado, I'll hand it back over to Terry.
Okay, thank you, Miriam. That's some great information. We are glad to hear about that. So kicking off first, we're one of our local programs this afternoon. I'd like you to meet Dr. Kevin Trowbridge, representing Belmont University's Masters in Strategic Communication and Leadership. Dr. Trowbridge serves as Belmont's chair and associate professor in the Department of Public Relations. He's also the director of their social media management program and a faculty advisor to Tower Creative Communications. And Miriam kind of stole my thunder, but drum roll please, he's jumped on board as a CNM facilitator and will be teaching our social media workshops on July 22nd, 6th, and August 2nd. Dr. Trowbridge, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Terry. It's great to be with everyone today. Thank you for that introduction. And, there are a lot of exciting things happening at Belmont. We had a new president inaugurated last fall, but this year has been the year with the theme, Let Hope Abound. And this spring, President Jones has rolled out, and the leadership team has rolled out clarified and new mission statements and vision statements. And I just want to share a couple of these things with you because they very much characterize the programs that I want to talk to you about today. today. And if you just look at the things that are highlighted, like as a part of our mission, it's very much about equipping and developing our students to make the world a better place. And I think about nonprofits, and that's where my heart for nonprofits really comes from. It's like making a difference in the world, and that's what you are doing with our vision to be a leading university that's radically championing the pursuit of life abundant for all people. And I think about what you're doing, and that's very much in line with our mission and what we're trying to do with our students. And then the aspirational aims, you see those as well. But again, our goal is to help people flourish and help communities flourish. And we are grateful for what you're doing in that capacity. Some of the continuing education opportunities, I'm going to spend most of the time this afternoon talking about our graduate program, but I just want to mention that if you have members in your organization that haven't finished their bachelor's degree, there's an opportunity to do that through our adult degree program, where there is a discounted tuition rate, and we offer two programs through my department, the Department of Public Relations, a public relations management degree and a social media management degree. And again, both of those are very much rooted in that mission that I just described, but also in helping others and seeing how strategic communication can be used to impact our community. The graduate program is an interdisciplinary program between several departments. And today I'm representing the director of that program, who is Dr. Jeremy Fike, who couldn't be with us this afternoon. But I and Dr. Fike and I had the opportunity to develop the curriculum and really launch this new graduate program, a Master's of Science in Strategic Communication and Leadership. And we had the opportunity to roll that out in fall 2020. So we've just completed our first 2 years with the program. You can see the QR code on the screen, and that will take you to the program website. I'll show you a couple of other QR codes as well. But thinking about our program, what makes this program unique? First of all, it's a 30-credit program, and we offer a flexible course scheduling. So we offer courses in the fall, spring, and summer, and you can design the program and work through the program at your own pace. So it's not a cohort-based model, but some of our students function that way when they enter the program. But even not being a cohort-based program, you're still going to have the opportunity to really connect with your colleagues within the program. The program gives you the option to pursue a thesis option at the end, or choose a capstone project option at the end. And you'll be working with an academic advisor, a faculty member, to really help you make the best choice that will support your own professional goals and academic goals beyond the program. We have a credentialed faculty, so all of our faculty have that academic credentials, but also all of the faculty in the program have professional experience, having worked in nonprofit organizations and even in corporations. So we are able to teach what many have just done recently or have done earlier that day. So you've got the faculty there. And the last characteristic, as I mentioned and sort of alluded to earlier, was the value of the community of colleagues, of both peers as well as your professors. Now, what does the program actually look like? This Master's of Science in Strategic Communication and Leadership, it's basically broken into, there are 4 core classes. You can see those core classes on the screen that are Foundations in Strategic Communication, Foundations in Leadership, a research course, and then a unique value-aligned communication and leadership course that brings together all of the things you've done in the program, and you begin to think about how do your values, how are they communicated, and how do your values affect your leadership. 5 of the courses in the program are application courses, and these are just some of those application courses for nonprofits. You may look at that second column, and by taking our nonprofit specific courses, you're able to earn a certificate in nonprofit leadership. the final part of the curriculum is the capstone, and that's where you choose between the thesis and the capstone project. So that's the curriculum, the 30 credit curriculum. Some other features include, as I mentioned, the certificate for nonprofit leadership. All members of the Center for Nonprofit Management receive a 25% discount on tuition. And then also the program allows for credit for professional accreditations. So if you are accredited in public relations or accredited as a business communicator, we can look at those credits and apply those to the 30-hour requirement. And all of that is done as you're consulting and talking with our program director, Dr. Jeremy Fike. Our students are making a difference in so many organizations, nonprofits as well as corporations locally and beyond. If you're interested, Dr. Fike is the person you want to contact, and you will be able to see his contact information on the screen. And then I want to encourage you to apply. The application deadline for the fall is August 1st. So you have a little bit of time, and I hope to see you in class in the fall. Back to you, Terry.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Trowbridge. Those are, I want to do that. I want to do that program. That's exciting. That's right up my alley. Thank you for sharing that with us, and for the generous and to Belmont for the generous discount and all that you guys are doing in the community. It's very inspiring. So next up, from up the road in Lebanon, we have Dr. Bill McKee representing Cumberland University's Masters in Public Service Management. Dr. McKee serves as Cumberland's Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs and is a professor of education and public service management. He's supported today by Lana Hale, who serves as the executive assistant to the Vice President for Academic Affairs at Cumberland. Dr. McKee and Lana, welcome, and take it away. We're not hearing. We're not hearing.
Let me check and see why that's not.
Yep. There is a share
got it.
audio as you're
Yes.
sharing your screen. That's most likely the cause.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I want to thank the Center for Nonprofit Management for allowing our institution to participate today. The goal of this presentation is to share information about our public service management program. This afternoon, you will hear from a current student, a recent alum, and 2 members of our program faculty. In 1996, the university realized there was a growth of nonprofits in Middle Tennessee and developed an educational program focusing on leadership development in these organizations.
I've had great experiences teaching in the MSP program. I've developed professional relationships with some of the candidates and now graduates of the program. I've been called on by some of the students that were in the program. They passed my name on to different people, and I have been called on to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it has been a great experience.
Sorry.
Is it just refreshing?
It's interesting that we have looked at this 15 times today and it worked perfectly. So Lana is a technical guru and I hope we can make this work again.
It's all good. Maybe we fast forward a minute, see, or unshare and then reshare again.
Yeah, I can try that.
Dr. McKee, do you want to tell us a little bit while we're trying to get that fixed up?
Sure. Our program is designed really for people in the not-for-profit area. If you remember the Center for Nonprofit Management, we have a major discount off of our tuition. So it would be 67% of what our regular tuition is. And it reduces our tuition to $200 a semester hour. Each of the 5 semesters of the program, you take 7 hours, 1 seminar, 2 3-hour classes, and that would make your tuition rate $1,400. In the summer that connects the two fall and springs, you take an extra hour, so that would make it $1,600. So we believe that since nonprofit people are not high paid, and that probably comes as a great surprise to many people on this call, what we wanted to do was to invest a large amount of our endowment income into this program so that we can make a difference in the community. So I think we're probably not going to get the PowerPoint up again. So let's talk about it a little more. It is a cohort model. It was founded in 1996. The first graduates were in 1998. We've had over 700 graduates from the program in those years. I can't really go to many state agencies or many metro agencies or a number of nonprofits where we do not have alumni. And our classes are organized where we use alumni as guest speakers. We use alumni to share experiences and to augment the curriculum. Faculty in the program are a good mix of practitioners and a good mix of university personnel. Now, we use a cohort model because we feel very strongly that that model helps students be successful. You start with a group, you move through with a group, and lasting friendships really are made. And the point of beginning a program is finishing a program. And we believe that the cohort model helps us do that. The cohorts start in August. August 1st is also our deadline for application. And we look forward to having people from very diverse backgrounds, because students in this program learn not only from the faculty, but they learn from each other. And we're very proud. I'd like to tell you that we take these people and we mold them and make them. But most of these people come to us with a whole lot of experiences and positiveness that they are our teachers as much as we are they. So again, tuition from the Center for Nonprofit Management is greatly reduced because we believe that in educating leaders in this area, we really impact our community for years and years to come. So thank you for this opportunity. And I'm sorry our PowerPoint didn't work, but it's all a part of the learning process for us. So thank you. And Terry, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. McKee. We hate those technical glitches, but maybe we can get that sent in the follow-up email tomorrow, Catherine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, it worked 14 times that we looked at it today.
Of course it did. Of course it did. Well, I am going to turn the microphone over to my colleague, Kelly Braniff, who is our Chief Partnerships Officer, and she is going to introduce the rest of the panelists this afternoon. I have to head down to the mayor's office for something, so I will leave you guys today. But Kelly, you're in good hands with Kelly, and I think we've got Fisk up next, right, Kelly?
Absolutely. I am more than honored to to kick off our third program. So please meet Dr. Kilimanjaro, who serves as the Director of Assessment and Accreditation, Chair of Master Social Justice Program, and Associate Professor. His expertise is in research methods, statistics, university level accreditation, and social justice movement theory and practice. His focus in FISC's graduate social justice program is to precisely guide and direct the quality academic matriculation process of their students within the agreed upon 18-month graduation cycle. Dr. Kilimanjaro, we are honored to have you, and the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you all. And thank Center for Nonprofit Management. Thank you so much for staying on me. I think it was Catherine who called me numerous times. We were in the middle of accreditation, our reaffirmation period. And so I was in charge of that. So again, I'm taking the time to make certain that I keep my promises. Thank you all again for allowing us to present our social justice program, Masters in Social Justice. We have a Masters in Social Justice that has been around for 2 years. And we're proud to say we had our first 2 graduates within the 18-month period that we had. Unlike some of the other programs, we actually have 36 hours that our students have to pass, but those 36 hours include an internship and work around practical social justice employment. So I will go over what we have set up. Our application deadline for the social justice program is August 1st. It ends in August 1st for the fall semester. And as you all know, these are not only positive times, major changes are taking place in this country that are positive. We saw our first African-American judge for the Supreme Court in the history of the Supreme Court, which is obviously a move forward. We've seen some positive developments with respect to gender and sex in this country, allowing people to have freedoms that other persons have, and making certain that those freedoms are available to all our people. We've seen improvements around environmental justice. We also have seen some improvements around curriculum and delivery at universities, even though it was tied mostly to the COVID crisis. We've actually improved upon our delivery on Zoom and all the other platforms that allow us to deliver our courses. So I would argue that there are some very positive things that are occurring this period, but there are also some very difficult things in this period that are unfolding, troubling times. We just saw over the past week in Buffalo where, folk just going to get grocery in the morning, most of them elderly, senior citizens were gunned down in the store. And, again, Nazi movements unfolding. And I've spent many years studying Southern Poverty Law Center's work around these, white supremacist groups, and obviously their militia developments. So social justice has a large umbrella. So many things that it deals with economically, politically, socially, culturally. All those things are important in this period. And so we would certainly make certain we told you all that our programs allow students to come in and study all aspects of justice, not just the social part of it, the economic part of it, the political part of it, the cultural part. We have courses that tie, core courses that tie into race, ethnicity, gender, social equality. We have core courses that deal with research methods and statistics. I'm in charge of those. We have core courses that deal with the development of social justice theory, social problems, environmental justice, human rights, local and global. We're actually watching a world war, a war on world scale taking place in Ukraine, which is drawn in, essentially most of the world in it. some of the atrocities that are occurring. So we're taking advantage of the information from around the world to build our program. And I'll say this in summary, that our apprenticeship program, our leadership for social justice program, the program within our social justice program, apprenticeship, we have sitting judges teaching some of our courses. We also have courses that are tied directly to applied social justice. So I'll sum up and say that you can go to the website, Fisk University EDU, and click on graduate school, and you'll be able to pull up all the specifics of the course information that's required for this program. It's a 36-hour program. The courses are flexibly scheduled. Whatever the students will need to graduate, we move forward to offer those courses. If they came in a period when they couldn't get it, we have a thesis option and we have an exit exam option. The 2 students that graduated this semester took the exit exam. All our courses are taught by PhDs or JD. And so in the final analysis, I think that the improvements that we're making year by year are the things that will actually offer students opportunities to be able to apply their work to the area that they go into. Our master's degree, again, is slated for essentially working class and middle class students, which is flexible for them. And we want to make sure they get out and get back into the workforce. So if there are any questions, I will certainly be able to answer those. And thank you again for offering this. Discount wise, it was on a case-by-case basis, but since I heard other folk doing doing their introductions, sum up that they're actually openly making sure discounts are in place, I'm going to work on that to make sure that that's taking place at our school also. I didn't know it was that's a standard way to do it, but I'm going to make certain it happens. We've been doing it case by case in the past, but I might get the blanket approach to it also. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kilimanjaro. Thank you for that.
We had a video. I don't know if it's.
I was going to ask if you wanted me to play the video.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, play it, because I didn't want to, just be the person that's a talking head. But play the video for us, please.
No, it's a great video. You guys will love that. I'm going to share my screen.
This pivotal time in history, we honor Fisk University's extraordinary contributions to the fabric of American life. A university where some define centuries, some break barriers, some sit in, some walk across bridges, some start little league teams, some stare into the furthest reaches of space. Some are just beginning to shake things up. Some raise senators. Some raise icons. Some raise superstars. Some shape global dialogues. Some shape policy. Some are just getting started. Some win medals. Some win prizes. Some sing. Some write poetry. Some compose. Some paint murals. Some build buildings. Some dance. Some still study. All belong to the Fisk family.
Thank you so much.
Wow, powerful. I'm so glad we did play that video. Thanks for jumping in there and sharing that, Catherine. And thank you, Dr. Kilimanjaro, for this wonderful presentation, for all you do for the community, as well as for checking in with that, moving it from case by case to maybe more of a blanket. I know everyone here at Nashville will be honored to that you're doing that work for us. So our fourth program that we have here Frank Osteen, who serves as the Lipscomb's Director of Graduate Enrollment and part of the Lipscomb University's College of Leadership and Public Service. He received both his undergrad degree and his MBA from Lipscomb and enjoys assisting future students on fulfilling their educational and career goals. Frank is joined by Annie Holmes, who is the Senior Manager for Student Success for Lipscomb University's College of Leadership and Public Service. She received her law degree from DePaul University in Chicago, Illinois, and has numerous years of experience in nonprofit management and direct services. At Lipscomb University, Annie manages graduate students' experience from admissions to graduation and fosters and maintains relationships with nonprofit organizations for internships and volunteer opportunities. Frank and Annie, we are honored to have you today, and so the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Kelly. We're honored and proud to be here and very humbled to be here in this great group of educators. Thank you for the opportunity. Again, my name is Frank Osteen, and I work for the College of Leadership and Public Service, located here in beautiful downtown Nashville at Lipscomb University, our downtown campus. We are extremely grateful for the honor of presenting today to talk about our Masters of Public Administration degree that's coming up this fall, starting in August. This came about due to great popularity with our Leadership and Public Service degree. We found that this particular degree was starting to trend toward folks in mid-career, that we felt the need to offer something for undergrad folks and folks just starting their careers the first 5 to 10 years. So again, we're very excited for this program. It is a 36 hours master's program, and it is cohort based, as is our Leadership and Public Service degree as well. We just feel like it's a great opportunity to have networking and relationships. I tell our prospective students that you're going to make 10 to 20 brand new friends for life. So we're very happy to offer that program. Moving on to some details. We have some great partnerships with the state of Tennessee and with several nonprofit agencies that we're very excited to have. Also, this program is designed to help and equip leaders for the first years of their careers in public policy. Administrators such as directors, managers, and coordinators or those at the onset of their career are best suited for this degree. So we really have something for both sets of future leaders, whether you be a mid-career person or you be just starting out. That's the main difference.
Sorry, Frank, real quick, is my screen showing for you?
It is starting screen sharing. It's not up just yet. It was there for a moment, but it has gone away.
I can't get back into it for some reason. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I will move on. I'll discuss our leadership team briefly. Our college dean is Dr. Steve Joyner, who has been with the College of Leadership and Public Service for over 15 years, a very influential person here in Nashville with many nonprofit connections. We have Dr. Michelle Steele, who is our academic director, associate dean. She is a superstar in Metro Nashville on several nonprofit boards. We have Mark White, who is a very influential politician with the state of Tennessee. He is a state representative, and very happy to have him on our team. And we have Mike Kraus, who is a former executive director for the Tennessee Higher Education Committee. Along with that, I'd like to turn it over to Annie for a few minutes, who is our Senior Manager of Student Success. One thing that sets us apart in this MBA program is that we will assign each student a mentor to guide them through the program, to get them great internship opportunities, And at the end of their program, when they graduate, the goal is for them to have a job waiting for them in the nonprofit sector. And we hope to do that through our mentorship program. Annie, take it away.
Thank you, Frank. I'm very sorry I had our PowerPoint working and then it went away all of a sudden on me. So as Frank said, I am part of my job here is to help with graduate students through everything in the program outside of the classroom, from admission to graduation, but then I also help partner with nonprofit organizations in the city to identify internships and job opportunities. And we've created quite a few partnerships with leading nonprofit agencies here in Nashville for specified internships for this MPA program launching. So we love to support our students to meet their career goals and just get great experience. And Nashville is one of the leading per capita cities in the world for nonprofit agencies. We have the most in the country per capita. So there's so much opportunity here. And I think this program will just be a great opportunity to help students in their careers in the nonprofit field. And one thing we are offering is students who may be involved with AmeriCorps programs or as AmeriCorps Vista members. We have special scholarships available for them as well as for CNM members. But I know, Frank, you're going to talk more about that. So I'll hand it back over to you.
All right. Thank you, Annie. Absolutely. We hope to be able to visit with interested parties at our breakout room. I will say at a minimum, CNM members or participants today, at a minimum, will get a 25% scholarship upon their completed application. And we have a lot more aggressive scholarships that we'd love to talk to you about, either at the breakout room or down the road. Just contact us. Just a few more points of interest. It is a 15-month program. As I mentioned, it is a cohort program, 2 weekends per month, Friday and Saturday, so you can work while you're going through the program. It is a hybrid program. And again, we offer a very aggressive mentorship program with very aggressive scholarship opportunities. Now, how do you apply? Well, it's very simple. You complete the online application. There is an application fee. Again, today, we're going to waive that fee for folks visiting with us today. So that's your first mini scholarship. We look for your college transcripts. There is no prerequisite as far as degree other than it be an undergrad degree. We do not test unless you absolutely want to take a test. We don't include a test unless you choose that. We prefer a writing sample, which shows us your writing ability. We ask for a resume, a personal statement, and 2 letters of reference. Upon that, you'll interview with Dean Joyner and have a nice visit, and that will get you done with the application. Our deadline is August 1st. We encourage you to get in earlier. And again, we can discuss that at the breakout room, and we hope that you can join us there, because I can assure you it will be worth your while. But the classes are at our downtown Spark Center, which is right in the middle of downtown Nashville at the corner of 4th and Commerce. We're very pleased to have that ability to offer classes here. And again, thank you for your time, and look forward to speaking with you at the breakout session and answer any questions. And obviously our info will be coming up that if you would like a one-on-one or a deep dive into the program, we'd love to talk to you. Lipscomb University or Lipscomb, the family is unique in that you can start off as a pre-kindergartner and go all the way up and get your PhD here. So we're very, very happy about that. All right, thank you very much. And I look forward to speaking with you in the next few minutes. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so very, very much, Frank, for representing Lipscomb. And Annie, I just want to take a moment to commend you for your determination. You got that slideshow up. And so I just want to thank you for all of that and making sure that you got that up to share. So at this point, we have Tribeca University, and so this will be our 5th program. And I am proud to introduce Jim Hyatt, who is an Associate Provost for Academic and Financial Affairs and the Dean of the Skinner School of Business at Trevecca Nazarene University. For his first 32 years with the university, he taught primarily legal-related courses, but has been solely in administration for the past 7. So today he is joined and supported by Andrea Robinson, who is the Director of Enrollment at the School of Graduate and Continuing Studies. Jim and Andrea, we're honored to have you here. And so I am going to go mute and turn this over to you.
Thank you, Kelly. Maybe, can you hear me first?
You sound wonderful, loud and clear.
And can you see my slides?
You can.
Okay, so with all the other problems, I was panicked about that, but thanks for everyone for hanging around for this fifth sales pitch. I do want to go ahead and jump into why the nonprofit, or excuse me, the MPA program is good for nonprofits. And let me start with a few of the nuts and bolts. So it is an 18-month program. It is 100% online. You take one class at a time. All materials are delivered to you at your door. It is a cohort model, so that lends itself toward collaborative and cooperative learning environments, along with the small class sizes, usually 10 to 12 or so. It is relatively inexpensive, so it's $5.63 a credit hour with some partial scholarships available. And I'll talk a little bit about the faculty in the next slide. If you do a little bit of research and you look at MPA programs and their connection to nonprofit organizations, I think you'll see that an MPA is one of the 3 recommended degrees, along with MBA and an MA in nonprofit. So because there's a lot of connection similarities, it is a management related degree, and you see things that are covered like strategic planning and analysis, budget and fiscal management, fundraising, program evaluation, among others. With a tagline like Trevecca, a Christian university in the heart of Nashville, you would expect a little biblical integration and ethical approaches there. And a little bit about the faculty. We do have several significant adjuncts. The Secretary of State, Trey Hargett, teaches in this program, along with Todd Staley, who is counsel for the House of Representatives, Tennessee House of Representatives in research and policy. One of our full-time professors is retired Chief Judge of the 2nd Division Court of Appeals, state of Florida. So Judge Davis is involved in a couple of classes. And then our director is Dr. Phil Rickard out of the business school. And he has a DBA with 2 specialties, accounting and public administration. A few other overlapping, I think, concepts. One you see here mentioned is stewardship. If you are in the public administration arena, you are really the public trust. You're trusted with that. And so you're managing resources, taxpayer dollars for specific projects and programs. Similarly, if you are involved with a nonprofit, you are managing dollars that are donated to you by donors. And so you want to make sure that you are on mission, not wasting resources, and are accountable to your donors. Legal environment. So nonprofits, of course, we know have to engage in and manage legal and issues related to regulatory compliance, et cetera. So a background in public administration gives you some really, again, background with these public policy, regulatory, administrative agencies. Finally, on this slide, I'd mention the final 2 words in that 3rd bullet point, which is organizational change. An organization, if you are doing strategic planning, often it necessitates change with your organizational structure, your employees, your methodologies, your systems, way you do business. So managing organizational change, proven methodologies and practices are really critical for the nonprofit world, as they are for anybody else, and is something specifically covered. Here are the 9 courses that are the core of the MPA program. I won't bore you anymore by specific details about most of them, but you can look at the 3rd one, analytics. So every organization must deal with their data and what's it telling you? How do you adjust to it? The 5th course, organizational behavior and leadership, certainly is a management course that is widely applicable in many MBA programs. Learning about your finances, managing budgets, creating budgets, other financial decisions. And then on the right column, note the one I alluded to, change management, strategic planning for complex public and nonprofit organizations. So there is a course specifically designed. But let me move to the really, I guess, the final major slide. And this is, I think, the major magic for the Trackers program. And that is your ability to choose, customize a track. So you take the 9 core courses, and then you have an option to choose a track, any one of these 8. So with most people, it will probably be the nonprofit track. And you see those 3 courses highlighted there on the right. Notice the raising human and financial resources for nonprofits. I don't know many nonprofits that feel like they have more money than they need. But in today's environment, the ones I'm associated with are having a trouble recruiting enough employees. I know at the National Rescue Mission, we're 35 down. You know, we usually have 150 and now we're at like 115 or so. So again, in critical course, but if your organization needs something other than nonprofit, you need expertise in data analytics or managing projects, or maybe some expertise in human resources. Do you need another income stream or a unique way of approaching a problem? How about entrepreneurship and innovation? Who doesn't need a little bit of understanding of managing crises and emergency situations? So any of these 8, including healthcare, if that is of interest to you, are possible. And so where you go through the cohort model with the students you start with, you end with, except for the tracks. And there we have students from MBA, MOL, Master of Organizational Leadership, the MPA, and the Masters of Healthcare Administration, all feeding into these tracks. And so you will be in necessity, cross-pollination, learning from other industries and meeting new friends in those tracks. So that is essentially the overview there. Next steps we can talk about in the breakout rooms about applications and transcripts and financial aid opportunities. So I appreciate the time and letting us be here today. So Kelly, I will turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hyatt. That's wonderful information. And I know we are only touching on like the hottest topics in each of these schools. I guarantee each one of these wonderful people could have spent the entire time talking about their wonderful programs. So thank you all for sharing everything, and thank you, Dr. Hyatt. So our last program today, but I want to introduce Vanderbilt University. And so I am proud to introduce Dr. Sarah Suter, who is an associate professor in human and organizational development and outgoing director of the Community Development and Action Master's Degree Program. So prior to joining the faculty at Vanderbilt, Dr. Suter was a senior program evaluator at Centerstone Research Institute and received her PhD from Vanderbilt University in Community Research and Action. She also completed a postdoctoral fellowship at the Center for Spirituality, Theology, and Health at Duke University Medical Center. Dr. Suter's research engages community-based responses to promoting human health and well-being. So Dr. Suter, we're happy to have you here. And so I am going to give you the floor now.
Thanks, Kelly. And thank you so much for having us today. As Kelly said, I'm the outgoing director of the Community Development and Action Master's Degree Program. I'm staying in the department and staying involved with the program. I'm just sort of passing the baton, and my 9 years of directing the CDA program have truly been a labor of love. I've loved working with faculty and students in the program. And so Peabody College has a lot of master's degrees and other professional degrees. We have a master's degree in public policy, one in international education policy and management, one in leadership organizations and policies. They all have big, long names and sort of funny acronyms. Today, I'm just going to talk about one program. I thought it might be helpful to you to have maybe a deeper dive on one program, but if you have questions about others, Peabody has a great admissions department that has a lot of good information on the web, as well as people who can respond to questions. So the Community Development and Action Program is part of the Human and Organizational Development Department at Peabody. In that department, we have the largest undergraduate major at Vanderbilt, 3 master's programs, CDA, a master's degree in human development counseling, and then a master's degree in human development studies. And then we also have a doctoral degree program in community research and action. And I wanted to start with the mission statement of the department and emphasize that this has been our mission statement for as long as I can remember. And as Kelly said, I was a student in the department at one point. So this has been sort of a long-standing commitment of the department. And I won't read it to you. I know that you can read it, but one of the things that I will say is this bottom part about faculty, staff, and students strive to hold each other accountable to these things. And we do not do this perfectly, but this is a place that I believe that, that the people who are there are legitimately committed to upholding these values and these practices. And it's one of the reasons that I love being in this department at Vanderbilt, is I think that we do work towards these things internally, even as we're working towards them externally as well. So the department has guiding principles, and you'll see them here. Again, I won't read them to you, but just to highlight, if this sort of gives you a sense of kind of the conceptual underpinnings of the department. And so one is this principle of simultaneity. So the idea that in order to create change, we have to operate at the human, organizational, and community levels. And also that teaching, research, action, and critical reflection all work together to strengthen one another. Similarly, with complementarity, when we think about community development, if you're an educator, I don't have to convince you that affordable housing and proper nutrition is important to the academic performance of your students. Similarly, if you are interested in affordable housing, I don't have to convince you that fair wages and having healthy environments to live in are important to safe and affordable housing. And so understanding those things together and how they influence one another is something that we really focus on in our department. And then also that skills and knowledge in different domains must be emphasized. And so one of the things that I really love about our program is that people come from a lot of different disciplines, a lot of different backgrounds intellectually, in terms of their life stories, in terms of what part of the country or the world that they live in, and acknowledging that everybody brings something to the table, and really working to figure out how do we create an environment where everyone is able to offer their best. And then the last one is contextualism, just that development is always happening in the context of globalization, and then that development is grounded in the context of specific populations. And so something that works in one place may or may not work in another place, and the best people to tell us that are the people living in the communities itself, where development is happening itself. So the program has, you might think of this as kind of the three-legged stool that supports community development and action. And so we're committed to theory, inquiry, and practice. If you're familiar with the philosophy of John Dewey, this is something that you will recognize. And this plays out a number of different ways in the program. But just to give you an example, every student in the program takes their first 3 courses in the first semester together. And these are the courses: community development theory. This is really about social theory of community development. And in this course, we really focus on the United States in the last 200 to 300 years. Community inquiry, which is a community-based research course, and then pro seminar, which is focused on the practice piece. And we really teach that as an ethics of practice course. So the CDA program itself has kind of 3 components, and all of those components, theory, research, and action, are kind of informing one another. But the 3 sort of core pieces of the program are the courses that you take, the program of studies, the practicum component, and then the final assessment. And so I want to talk about each of those. This is a 30-hour degree. You can take an additional 6 hours to get a certificate or a concentration if you want to. It's designed to take 2 years. Some students go quicker and they finish in about 18 months. Other students continue to work full time and it takes them a little bit longer, but usually only about 2.5 years. And so this is it's a flexible program and it's a doable program. So there are 5 required core courses, the 3 that I talked about, as well as pre-practicum and a diversity course. We have a few different courses that fulfill that requirement. You then take 3 CDA topics courses. This gives you an example of what some of those are. Those are courses within our department taught by our own faculty. And then you can take 2 electives. The electives you can take anywhere in the university as long as it's a graduate level class. And so we've had students take courses at the law school, at the business school, nursing school, medical school, really all over the divinity school, all over the university to sort of help them focus on the areas that they want to focus on. So the CDA practicum experience is 300 hours. We don't make you take a practicum course, so you don't have to pay to work these hours, which is nice and something that we work hard to be committed to. Practicum exploration begins in pro-seminar. The entry into a practicum placement is supported in pre-practicum, and these are examples of just some of the many places that students have worked. And from time to time, we will have students who are already living in Nashville, already working with one of these organizations who kind of say, like, can I count the work I've already done towards my practicum experience? And the answer to that is no, because we want you to be applying the material in your coursework to what you're doing in your workplace. But if you are continuing to work in those places, we do allow you to count your work as your practicum. So you can't count retrospectively, but you can count things that are happening concurrently. And then the final assessment, every student either does a final project or a thesis. In both cases, it integrates theory, research, and action. But with the project, it's a little bit more focused on action. And with the thesis, it's a little bit more focused on research. But this just gives you some examples. This was a student who did her practicum with HUD. I meant to say this on the practicum slide, but a lot of students do their practicum placements locally, but we've also had people do them all over the United States and internationally as well. So this is a student who did her practicum placement with HUD, and she did a change management project. This is another student who worked locally and created education and sort of job transition planning for women at Thistle Farms. And then these are examples of theses that students have done recently. This one is more qualitative. This one is more quantitative. That's probably obvious. And then the last thing I'll say that I really am so proud of the students in this department, and really students across Peabody, is that there is a big focus on taking what we learn in the university and making sure that it is connected and impacting things that are happening in Nashville and in the surrounding areas. And so these are examples of things that you might call actionable knowledge products. And so this is different than publishing academic research, but it's research and practice that have gone into these guides that are part of Tennessee, the state of Tennessee. There's an example of a podcast that featured a CDA student, and then a number of different blog posts that you can see. Brendan O'Connor is a CDA student who now works at the Selma Center for Nonviolence, Truth, and Reconciliation. So as you can see, the work that we're doing in the university is rigorous in terms of theory and research methods. It's also rigorous in terms of the practical application and the ability to translate it into action. If you're more interested in sort of specific academic research, these are examples of students who have written a thesis and then have published the research from their thesis. And I think the last thing I was supposed to talk about was whether or not we have any discounts for CNM members. And we don't have discounts specific to CNM members, but Peabody does provide merit awards worth at least 30% of tuition to any admitted student with a 3.0 GPA or higher who have participated in one or more of these programs. And so I imagine, knowing what I know about CNM members, that these programs are things that a number of you have participated in. There's a lot of information about applying to this and other programs on the website. And as I said, Peabody's admissions department is excellent. And so it's really easy to get information, to talk to a person, that kind of thing. And I'm happy to answer questions in the breakout if you have them. I think I'm passing it back to Kelly. Was that right?
It is. Thank you, Dr. Suter. That was wonderful. And thank you to all of our schools for being here today. And so I just want to make sure that we just are so grateful for everyone joining us and for all the schools sharing their program highlights. As we mentioned earlier, all the links, all the resources, all the contact information from the panelists are in the chat if you want to go back and look there, but we will also compile all of these and share them tomorrow in a follow-up email. So be on the lookout for that follow-up email. And so now each program will have its own breakout room. We'll be allowing participants to self-select and join the breakout rooms of their choice. You can go into a breakout room, ask questions, have a great conversation, and then come back and then go into another room. So you're free to kind of work through all the rooms that you're interested in, all the people you would like to talk to. If you don't have Zoom version 5.3.0, which I had to look, I have no idea what iPhone I have, much less what Zoom version I have. You may not be able to self-select a breakout room, but Catherine and I are here and will happily just manually move you. Just go ahead and chat what room you'd like to go to first, and we will make that happen. So Catherine, would you like to open up those breakout rooms for us? I do see some people moving around. So if you are unable to move or select a breakout room, just chat us and we will get you to the right place. Looks like we just have a couple of people left in these rooms, left in the main room. So if you are interested in joining a breakout room, it does look like Dr. Kilimanjaro is free to talk if you